Welcome to the Dingus Den for a brand new comic review video where we're talking about the end of Danny Warren Johnson's Transformers run. Let's see if it kept up with the momentum. I'm excited to delve into this, as this is what everything has been leading to with all this Transformers stuff. So let's just delve right on into it.
Welcome to the Dingus Den.
All right, we're back for another Energon Universe review. We've finished up the 4 G.I. Joe related miniseries. Make sure you go check them all out, as well as all the other Transformers volumes, because obviously we wouldn't be here today talking about Transformers Volume 4 if it wasn't for us not having read the first 3, because, that's just how numbers work.
That's very true.
But great to have you back, Ward, as always, as we, our 8th part of this Energon Universe review journey that we've been on, which has been a lot of fun. Been a lot of fun revisiting these. I've really enjoyed going back and actually binging through these Transformer stories. As I think sometimes they kind of work a little better this way, at least from what I could recall from when I first was reading the issues. So
yeah, when you do your first pass through, sometimes you can miss some stuff. So it was really fun going back through these, as well as discovering and going through the G.I. Joe one shots, which were very well done all the way across the board.
Yeah, it's such a solid universe, and these are just awesome. As we've talked about the whole way through up with the first 3 volumes, that it's about, well, Megatron's coming back. And this is now the culmination of, oh shit, Megatron's back, as we saw at the end of Volume 3. Where, I mean, obviously, go check out our previous volume reviews, especially as this one does pick right off from the end of Volume 3, where it's literally the Autobots retreating after they see, oh shit, Megatron's back. So, important shit. It's important here. And so... But yeah, I guess let's just go ahead and get into this. There's a lot to delve into. Let's just dive in. There's no better way to do it, I think, than let's just dive in to this. And it's interesting too because I pulled all the single issues out and I read through all of them, and I forgot that this. Well, I didn't think about to look until literally just before we started recording, and I read through it, where they include a story from the Energon Universe special that came out last year. And it's a fun little special. At least I thought it was fun. Having seeing Cybertron back then, we're seeing the Autobots enjoy themselves. They're rocking out, quite literally. And it's cool because we see a spotlight on Jazz in this little story, and just see how much he's enjoying, playing the piano there, which is cool, with the keyboard there. And so, yeah, it was a neat little story, a little heartwarming, and I love the little conversation here that Optimus and Jazz has Jazz talking about, he's feeling connected to something that's not there, referring to all this sort of music stuff. And so it was a cool little conversation that I like seeing between them two.
Yeah, I love Optimus playing the whole turn down that garbage, Dad moment. He's like, can you just turn it down, please?
Please. Yeah, exactly. And it ends with Jazz seeing the jazz band play as he's looking out through the window there. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice little short story there, worth mentioning. But then we get the main meat with this, as we get into, oh, you know what? I should have looked at this before, because we have the same artist for issues, the main issues, Jorge Corona. who did everything from essentially, I think it's like the first, second, and third volume, because I think
Yeah.
Daniel Warren Johnson did all the first volume, if I remember right. Although Daniel Warren Johnson did do the art for the short story we're just talking about. That's cool. But we got a different artist, though, for issue 19, which is under the name of Ludo Lolabi.
Yeah, Ludo Lobby is the one that took over the art duties for Battle Chasers 10, 11, and 12. As well, he has his own series out through Image, and he has a very Joe Mad influenced style.
Nice.
Because he also works for Joe Mad's video game company, and that's how they met. And you can definitely tell he's been influenced by Joe Mad with the way he draws, even though he's a little bit more looser than Joe Mad is. Joe Mad adds a lot more detail than Ludo does, but you definitely see the Joe Mad influence on Ludo.
That's interesting. I never knew that. I haven't read those last issues of like Battle Chasers that they did. But I need to, because I checked them out for like the first time last year, like the what was the complete collection that they had out, and I really liked it. So I never knew that though, about Ludo, just not somebody else familiar with, but that's really cool. And cool to see him here as a guest artist on Transformers here, where we get this awesome.
He does a really good job too. I love his energy. He picks really great dynamic perspectives, and he's good. He definitely learned a lot from Joe Mad, with the way he does his designs and his panel layouts.
That's really cool. I love to hear that. Joe's awesome with everything that I've seen him of his work, and so yeah, that's really cool though. And especially being able for that to work as kind of a one-shot story, essentially. Giving a little bit of background to Megatron, which is interesting. And interesting as well that we now know too, in a couple of months as well, how we're getting more and like another Megatron backstory as well. So it's interesting to see how this issue and that will play out together.
It's nice seeing a villain get fleshed out and turned more complex, just like what we got with Cobra Commander. So it's cool because Megatron is a cool character, but he does need a little bit of fleshing out.
Yeah, and this issue I think definitely helps with that. So yeah, it's cool stuff here in this issue, and I always like, I can never remember their names, but those weird alien people that are here. It's so cool seeing them here. There's certain Transformer names I always forget, and it's like those aliens are so cool though. And seeing that be like such a big threat here, and using Megatron, and it's a nice like self-contained story as well, as it's Megatron trying to go through this whole trial process that's essentially never ending, and always kind of the vibe of like he's almost stuck in a time loop, but they're like driving him kind of crazy of this loop is like what I was thinking of it.
Yeah.
And so they're really testing Megatron here, which is cool to see. And like we see him like fight off all the other ones, and then what does it say? Mechanical core, comes out and just wrecks him repeatedly, right? And so it's really cool to see how all this goes, and seeing all the different trials happen. We're seeing Megatron just go mad. I love here that we get to actually see him turn into his tank, because before now we've only seen him turn to the gun. And so cool to see how he's actually able to use that, and is going through all these trials, such as here, he reaches the 300th trial. Things are still going rough for him. And then the trials get interrupted, and we're seeing all this. See, this is like kind of like what makes me kind of curious on learning more about these alien people. I don't know a lot about are they called Quintessons? They might be called Quintessons now that I'm thinking about it. I know they play a part in Void Rivals.
Okay. I'm not familiar with them. I thought they were cool, kind of like an organic, mechanical looking thing, and definitely the most alien looking one so far. You know, it's weird seeing like an alien robot that's actually turns into a Porsche. But yeah, it was interesting, and I wonder if we're going to get more of these during his side story.
It'll be cool to just learn more about their involvement of it, because like I said, I know they're involved in Void Rivals. A little bit I read, it's just kind of like, it's kind of there. Like, if you didn't know their connection to Transformers, you wouldn't think anything else of them kind of just being there. And then obviously for anybody who saw Transformers 1, they're in that too, which is cool to see.
And we see him his first gun form, and then we also learn that the gun form allows him to control anyone who's using the gun, which will play later into the story with Optimus. So
yeah, it's really cool to see that too, because it also references this idea of like, hey, you are now having this special ability of where almost all the other Autobots can only turn, they're either their robot form or whatever they turn into. You now have 3 forms instead of the 2, which is interesting as well. And it makes me like, you know, I should have done research on this because I was thinking about it, but I was like, I don't want to stop reading to look this up, and then I didn't get around to it. Is that, well, like, if I remember right, Megatron was a gun first, as far as transformation. And then I don't know at what point it started becoming that he was a tank. And I don't know if they've ever done this idea where it's the two combined, like this 3 version combined.
Yeah, and in some iterations, he could turn into a plane. So like a plane, a tank, and then I think the plane took over because the gun didn't work in live action, because it's hard to like see him shrink down to a gun that Autobot could hold on to, because technically it doesn't make much matter sense. Like he's essentially reducing himself in matter. And I know in some iterations, like in the live action movies, he turned into a tank and a plane. So it was kind of interesting. He hasn't been a plane yet in this one. It's just been purely tank and gun.
Yeah.
And the gun calls back to the old toy. And I think the tank came along later, but they're kind of combining the two. And it's kind of funny to see the gun with little tank tracks.
yeah, I remember commenting on that last time, and I just love how that looks there, which is just awesome. Like what I was trying to get to there, and you touched on a little bit too, of like, it is such a cool way to like combine both of the like main iterations I would know of Megatron. When you said he used a plane, I completely forgot about that part. To be completely honest, I was like, oh yeah, he did do that in the movies, and so funny stuff. But yeah, so we get to see this whole, you know, the quintesson here is, you know, bowing and accepting this defeat, as we learn of, you know, as you said, the gun control their minds and is forced to shoot. And so really interesting to see how all that happens as he, you know, blows up the big the whatever we just called it. We're great with names. And so it was cool to see, though, because then we get back and we see how, you know, being like, now it was a lesson, and getting this Megatron monologue that brings us back to close to where things just kick off at, but back in like the more modernish sort of time of it, which is really cool to see. So, but yeah, it was a cool solo Megatron story. Is good. And so, but now the rest of it, it's one big story to wrap up what's been going on. And it's one of those things where all the setup was essentially done in those first 3 volumes. So it just felt like it was just the fall of everything in these last 5 issues of his arc here.
Yeah.
And it felt like there's just no dull moments. Especially when this is literally the first page of issue 20, is when we're seeing the destruction of Seattle, and literally Soundwave is like, they're getting away, and Megatron's like, then let us give, about to give chase, and then gets interrupted by Astro Train, who literally just rams into him there, like right
that's
off the
such a
bat.
beautiful panel too.
Oh
And
yeah,
Megatron just tanks it. He's just like, whatever, little bitch.
yeah, it's great. It's great. I love it. So, and seeing here too, the battle between them, like it's so action packed as we just get. I mean, they all have been like volumes have been action packed, but even more so, I feel like this one's a little bit more just because it's really showing the, everything's in place, so all the pieces are falling now, essentially.
Yeah, and it does a great job of it just establishing how badass Megatron is, because the Autobots have been kind of on their heels all three first volumes.
Yeah.
And then here comes in Megatron and just lays down like, I'm the daddy, and the rest of you guys are going to do as I say. And whoever challenges him, he makes pretty quick work with them with one arm and using a bird for eyes. Like he is a badass dude on this.
Yeah, it's such a great like proper introduction to the character.
Yeah.
Which is just so cool to see. And as you said, Daddy Megatron. Exactly. And so, but yeah, you're exactly right. Seeing how he just destroys Astro Train there. We're seeing how scientists are working on I forgot his name.
Oh, was it Omega Prime or
maybe this other Prime though?
Yeah, Ultra Prime or something like that.
Yeah, whatever that is.
He was the one that was scared in like that fort, and then the military soldiers came
and then
him.
Yes. And so now we're seeing that plot line specifically here. What went on from that? The government's now experimenting on them, trying to figure out what they can. Here is one of the best moments of, I think, probably all the issues, to be honest. Just because, like, this is such another great heartfelt moment between Optimus and Spike there.
Yeah.
And Spike just being like, Spike knows that his father is inside of Optimus now. He's like, so like, does he speak to you? How does this work? And, trying to this story has a great overall, I'm trying to think of the right words to put here, of specifically the Spike story that's with like wanting to it's a great story about accepting loss here is what with Spike. And this is a great way for it to, especially specifically in this volume too, it's a great way for this story to begin with him being able to officially bury and accept that, that his father is gone. And this conversation was just a great conversation to have with it, which I thought was great. And so, and what a heartfelt moment between the two of them as well. Beautiful sunset, and yeah, it's just great. It really is. So yeah, it's a great,
a very well done moment. I love the line where their sun sets on Cybertron.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, "Yes, you are correct." Well, that means there's also sun rises, and Spike is a great character, especially working with Optimus, who is kind of in that dad role himself, scarred veteran in the middle of a war, trying to protect his family and children and do the right thing. And he's been constantly tested leadership wise through this entire thing.
Absolutely. Definitely agree. And so it's just cool to see that. And then gets interrupted by the aerial bots are back now, using the last of their Energon reserves, as they know, crap, Decepticons are coming. Like, they know Decepticons are heading their way, so they're like, all right, we must use the rest of the Energon so we can at least have a chance to stand and fight to even see another day than, just letting their reserves, I suppose, come to get into the hands of the Decepticons. And so it's cool seeing these aerial bots there. And I like this idea too of like that it's the Transformer, that it's the Autobots made to be like, yeah, yeah, there's Autobots that can fly too. The aerial bots, they're not just cars.
We got a bunch of planes too, yo.
Yeah, we can have planes too. And so yeah, it was cool seeing all of them come about. And then also, I don't remember when I exactly figured it out myself, because I know it was like a moment or two later that I probably should have like really keyed onto when we were reading previously, that the arm was infecting Optimus, and here they officially say that the arm's affecting Optimus. With these visions and making him do stuff. And yeah, back on Cybertron, we see we get a moment between Cliff Jumper and I don't remember the other's name is.
I forgot the name of the van.
Shredhead.
Shredhead, that's right.
Yeah.
It's essentially the girl's van is now a Transformer.
Yes.
So yeah.
Exactly. So we see that and having a nice little moment between the two of them. Here we get wait, what's his name again? I already forgot.
Omega Supreme, was it?
Omega Supreme, you're right.
Yeah.
So Omega Supreme, which a little bit of flashback there, and here we're seeing Megatron with the remains of Cybertron on Earth here. And I love what happens here is we're seeing this decapitated Starscream. They take him over to this device. Looks like torture, but no, actually he's just made anew. And
yeah,
Starscream's like, thank you so much. Thank you. And I love this because what does Megatron do? He just beats the shit out of him.
Yep, beats the dog's crap out of him.
Oh, I love it how he's just like, Starscream, you piece of shit. I'm gonna make you whole again just so I can beat the shit out of you, so it's more pleasing. And he can do it as much as you want.
I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah, keep on going, which is great too. And it's a cool. I didn't think about this too, but it's very much Megatron as well in a way enforcing what he had to go through with trials as well.
Yeah,
this way too of he felt this experience that made him overcome it, but he knows too of like I can also make people feel shit, and only the best of people can overcome something like that, which Starscream certainly is not one of. Let's be clear about that. So,
well, plus two, it's like Megatron's not gonna beat up on a torn in half Starscream, so it's like I'm gonna make you 100%.
Yeah,
then I'm gonna whoop your ass for what
you
did.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna make you shoot your buddy.
Oh yes. Yes. Love it. It is fantastic. I love it. And so great stuff that they do all around. And then and that's funny too, is that like he makes sure to beat the shit out of Starscream first before he even fully repairs himself here too, which is kind of a wild idea as well of like, let me beat the shit out of you first, then I'll fix myself up. And so yeah, it's cool. So we go back see that there's all this stuff going on with the military base. We see what's his name, General Flag there is involved, and that has a link to some of the GI Joe stuff that we were reading as well. General Flag's kind of like as far as all the Earth-based stuff, General Flag's been like that, like one solid through line between almost all the series.
Yeah.
And so seeing him involved here is cool. And
he's got that kind of Amanda Waller type kind of quality.
Sure.
Like, is he good? Is he bad? Or is he just doing what needs to be done?
Yeah.
And he's very brutal with it too.
That's a great way to put it. 100% agree. And so, but yeah, back on Cybertron, we get another little bit of like them setting up of like, well, who's going to go back? Only one person can go back to Earth. Who is it going to be? Don't know. But RC has, or no, Alita 1 has something to say. Show them there. We go through and we see the Decepticons are preparing their attack on the Ark. So exciting stuff. We're seeing here that they're trying to work on Optimus here. and with working on Optimus. But then the attack then starts. Shit goes down. I love this here where we see the Devastator and what are they called? Brute. Devastator is Brute something. Bruticus. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds right. We then also see, right as this is all going to, the vision, the evil visions that's make Optimus do bad stuff starts to come in at the worst time. So he's about to shoot his teammates. But then everything, the arc just disappears. And yeah, wild stuff here. I love too how Bruticus and Devastator start getting mad at each other and they just start beating each other up for a moment here too.
Same team.
And Megatron's like, "Shut up! We're all here together." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, there's a bunch of the Autobots here. That's what we're here for. Let's knock them down where they're bad." But then the aerial bots come in, and I love that they have this moment of where finally the Autobots get an awesome, cool combiner.
Superion.
Yeah, this is such a badass page. We get some awesome one-pagers through this story as well.
Awesome. Oh yeah. Like, the artwork is just top notch with the artists. It was hitting on, the art teams were hitting all on top level.
Yeah, Danny Warren Johnson, Jorge, and Ludo, all fantastic so much. So, yeah, amazing stuff. Anyway, Optimus is like, needs to get the arm off, so everyone shoots the arm off of him. So the virus doesn't affect him anymore, at least hopefully. But since he lost the arm, that means Megatron has back his arm now. Megatron is now fully whole, which means bad stuff is going to happen.
Yeah.
and I love this too, where we see how he turns into a gun and makes Starship command him, and as they're running away, everyone on Superion, he then shoots off his arm, and so one of the aerial bots is just stuck there and just gets crunch right there, as we see. And so, yeah, ruthless indeed. And seeing as well here that, like, oh, they must go on. And then the humans that they rescued back in, I'm trying to remember exactly when this was, but I remember there's this plot point with the hospital that they saved.
I want to say it was either midway through, I think it was volume 2.
Maybe.
Spike was in the hospital, and I believe in volume 3 he was in the wheelchair, and then because it was when his dad did the sacrifice and they were at the city, and they kind of use his Energon, or his chest thing, to bring power back. I believe that's what it was, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when either. Been reading them all so close to each other. It's like, what are they again? But point is though, is that group that saw the good in the Autobots, or they're like, okay, let us try to do what we can to help you.
Yeah.
Which is cool to see. And then we also get this point too back on Cybertron where Cliff Jumper essentially sabotages the plan and makes Shredhead go through. And so Shredhead's the only one that's now back on Earth. Here we see all the Autobots and humans all together. And we learn some bits as well. I think this point 2, or at least around here, is when we also first off, we see here there's the virus with Optimus Prime. And learning that, the virus already infected him, even though he doesn't have the arm, he's still getting a little bit messed up there. And Spike's like, well, let me see if I can fix this then. And seeing all this stuff starting to go down. Weird Energon stuff happening.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. The Hall of Primes here was a cool thing to see as Optimus enters this weird, like, vision plane or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, the Hall of Prime. The Primes look badass. Like Gundams.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting to see all that. I don't remember if this is one what was first mentioned or not as well, but we also I don't think so. But we're also learning too around this time in the story as well, where the Coast Guard is wanting to like evacuate everybody from the west side of the states because of all this crazy shit that was happening, and so everyone's starting to travel like east, or wanting to get everyone to start traveling east as well. Um, because we get like a little bit of a look in with the conversations here of like kind of how the world is looking a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, and I like that aspect too of how you're able to delve into a little more of like the Transformers movies. We just see a lot of like, you know, we see everything go down, but we don't see how it affected the people much, unless of it's like the main character, I guess. Other than that, it's just like, okay, what about the city that you just destroyed? Oh, it's fine. Uh, Here we actually get to see like fallouts of that and how it's the consequences of what has happened, which is
Yeah.
cool to see. And so I like seeing that. Also, we got this beautiful part in Volume 1 of Transformers, which involves Optimus and the deer. Uh, Another one of the just truly best parts of the entire Transformers run was that moment between Optimus accidentally killing the deer. And here, Megatron finds that spot. He finds this burial, and he's like, "Where? It's lame. Why did they do this?" And saying Megatron saying Optimus is weak, and him pulling out from the ground that deer's body, and not only that, but then he squishes it. It's like, oh my god, Megatron, what is? Yeah, it's just an innocent dead animal body. Why are you crunching it? So,
But you are right though. It does a great. It shows the differences between the two. Like
yeah.
Optimus is like, "I'm sorry," and buries the creature, and Megatron takes it up and squishes it, just tosses it off to the side.
Yeah. Well, I got the sense too of, even though the points of it were kind of vague overall, because it was all referencing back to the war on Cybertron, which we don't know specifics of that in this universe. It would be interesting for him to maybe delve into that at some point eventually. But we don't know, like, we know of the war and we know what the war is, but we don't know the specifics of like why the war and fully everything that went down,
Yeah.
But the reason I bring that up though is part of what's really making Megatron a good expanded character in this too is of how it talks about, he's like, well, Optimus never essentially had the balls to do what's needed to be done, right?
Yeah.
He would take these certain necessary steps, and it's phrased in a way too, I think, of like, okay, yeah, he's obviously the antagonist in this, but then there's also, I think, legitimate points too of like leaders have to take drastic steps,
Yeah.
and accept that not everybody can be happy at the end of the day. Like sometimes you just got to make decisions that's best for for a majority and not everyone, as
Well,
a lot of times it's not possible.
And there's like when he was taking on Astro Train,
Mhm.
he saw like there is no justice in this world. There's only strength. And then here he's making the point of that all hope leads you to is ruin. So like
Oh
this
yeah,
hope, this peace, this justice, there is none. There's strength, and it kind of helps reaffirm who Megatron is.
yeah. It's great. It really is. And not only that, we get to see even more how ruthless that they are. You thought the deer thing was fucked up. Actually, arguably the deer thing is still more fucked up than this that we're about to get into. But just to show how further evil they are, there's this big military operation going on as they're trying to, completely secure all of what's the West Coast here. Like, that's a lot of military right there, which is just like, holy cow. And they're at war with the Decepticons, where they're just absolutely destroying them. And obviously, because you're fighting against alien robots, of course you're not going to be able to beat them. But, I guess they have to try, right? Anyway, they turn it into a whole counting game of like, how many you killed? Oh, I killed 23. Oh, pathetic combat 37. He's like, what? I must do better now. As the war just continues here. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, that's just messed up. So anyway, we get this interrogation between Flag and I don't remember her name. The girl's name here that I can't remember. Carly.
Yeah.
So getting a conversation between them. We're also seeing like lead scientist dude here. I guess he was like one of the lead scientists, right? Seeing how here he's executing the program to allow the Prime here to escape, and thus also being able to get Carly and just leave. And so, because bad stuff is going on there, and they start going off to Chicago, where they're learning that's where, right? I think this is the point where they start. I think where they mentioned that. But anyway, point is they're leaving to regroup with the others now. Yeah, because here they say, oh, sorry, it's the next page where they're like, oh, the final stand is going to be in Chicago. Everybody's migrating this way. Chicago is serving as like the big central hold line of if Chicago falls, essentially everything's going to be done for.
Yeah.
So here we get to see Shredded is officially on Earth now and just drives along trying to find
in the water.
Driving in the water. He is indeed driving in the water down there. Nobody said physics was a thing with Transformers. The moment you have alien robots that turn into robots that turn into vehicles, all physics went out the window, right? So but yeah, and we get to see here too, which is cool as well, like the next issue here. Like, I love how the series doesn't dilly-dally. And it's one of those things where it's like, there's important stuff that will happen on just one page, and you can't miss that page.
Yeah.
And because it's so grand in scale, it will jump around a lot. Now, maybe there is a valid complaint in there where you could say, well, maybe it would help if they could have had a couple more pages here and there. But I think for how much they packed into, especially in these last 5 issues, I think they did a really good job for the standard comic size.
Yeah, and you had like one page establishing Chicago. You do you show what's going on with Shred, and then you go and you're right here at the border of essentially Chicago, and it's like, okay, well, the final battle started, and they do it's very streamlined, and it's like the least amount of pages possible in order to get the information across, and it works. I mean, I mean, you're not confused by it. Now they could have done a couple extra pages, but honestly, it's just it works.
It 100% does. And so, and it's great to see too, like when you just begin this issue, when you're beginning to just see, oh, it is the final battle here in Chicago. Okay, we're getting into this, as I think it was like the beginning of like the second to last issue, if I remember right. It's like they get right into these last 2 issues of being one big exciting finale, which is just awesome. And seeing, we're seeing all the Decepticons, and we're just seeing more here. We're also seeing though more of what's going on with Optimus in this like vision world as he's trying to navigate it. He finds Sparky there, and learning like, there's all this crazy stuff like their visions being combined there, and trying to exactly figure out what's going on. Interesting little self journey there that we get, and we'll get more into that. But yeah, it's very reminiscent here though of Optimus's death in Transformers movie, and so
the third. Was it the third one?
No, the original animated one.
Oh, yes, that one too. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the one where Spike, where Shia LaBeouf character has to get him to Egypt, and then they get
that's the second one
to his chest. Yeah, and then I
haven't seen those movies in a long time. I might. Anyway, maybe it's a mistake. Maybe a mistake going through them after all these, though. Anyway, It's really cool though, as we're seeing all these people pay their respects to Optimus and being like, we realize that you were good to us. You were just had a good soul to help us when he could have easily destroyed us, and being like, we're just so thankful for you being here. And yeah, it's great of everybody having these moments. The other Prime there comes up, has his moment, and that's what essentially makes him energized, I guess, to essentially lead them now. And it makes sense too, since he's technically a Prime, or since he's a Prime, that he's now the one to help lead them in this final battle. And what a shot here too, with him like, you know, raising his sword here and seeing all the people there. It's just great page. There's just so much great stuff in this, and so love it. And also saying for Optimus Prime, this it's an awesome close up here.
Yeah, it's a good redemption for him after chickening out in the last
yeah, it is. I love this too, as everyone just chants Prime, and you see that middle panel there of them all stepping through the flames and smoke, and this is the part, like, you just get excited, so excited when you're reading this, because you have the big proper moment of, you know, Decepticons, Autobots here together, and it's just war, complete utter war, you know.
Beautiful 2-page.
It is amazing. Yeah, I love this panel so much. So well done. Like, it's just amazing. It really is. And so, yeah, amazing. 10 out of 10 stuff right here. It is just so exciting as you get into it. You know, it really is almost those like similar vibes of, you know, you're watching through all the Marvel stuff and you reach that big battle in Endgame and you're just so excited because that's where everything's going to, you know. Similar vibes here, as it's literally the just destruction of the battlefield there, and it's just insane stuff as battle lets loose, and that's what we get here. It's a bunch of action, which is just great to see, as well as we get more visions. We get another, like, they highlight Bumblebee specifically here, which we haven't gotten since like issue like 1, and so, you know, Bumblebee's like still quite dead, and saying that
and we get confirmation that his memories are mixed with Spike's dad's memories.
Yeah.
And we're seeing, yeah,
and they're just trying to figure out how to navigate through this. And meanwhile, while this whole spiritual journey is happening, there's war. War is happening. And here we're seeing Beachcomber literally take a hit for Carly, because he's still not wanting to fight, but he's like, I'll be your bodyguard, or your body shield. And so, and then back in the visions, we're seeing here where Spike was trying to rescue his dad. We see him like kind of like halfway through, I guess, being accepted here. And we're seeing all these, I love this too, of how Optimus is, you know, he's here seeing all these people that he had to give up, and then seeing Sparky there to fully give himself up for what's needed for the cause. And that's what allows him to wake back up here. So cool stuff. And I love this part too, because we're seeing here as well that Starscream's in there and he's about to shoot Optimus, and then what happens? Slap from Megatron. He's like, you fool, I told you this is the one thing that you don't fucking do. And what do? Don't listen to me, you absolute dumbass. That's you know, translating for Megatron there. And so but anyway, and while he's beating up Starscream, we see Optimus is back and is ready to fight Megatron, and one shall fall. And that's an exciting way for it to just, I remember this page right here is exactly where the issue 23 ends. So we literally,
I love the whole taking the gun off.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're gonna do this man to man, robot to robot, fist to fist.
Exactly. And it gets right into that at the beginning of the final issue as well of this around here. And so everything's led to the battle between the two here, which is just awesome. Epic stuff here. I love it. And just seeing them beat each other up, metal bits going everywhere. It's glorious. Seeing Optimus use his truck to, Megatron's getting all the beatings there with that. And seeing, yeah, it's just excellent here. Seeing all this stuff happen here, the battle between the two, and seeing them all, and when the fight comes out here, Megatron's like, you know what? I'll just start destroying the people. I don't care anymore. I'm just going to destroy them. It's like, oh my god. And gets Optimus even more mad and is beating up Optimus. And there's then that point of where Starscream and Laserbeak, he's like, here, help me take Optimus. We need to make an example of Optimus here. And Optimus gets impaled.
Brutal.
Brutal. I love it too, of how very, I love too how it shows, like, just because Optimus is back, it doesn't mean that he could just beat Megatron right away. I love how they do, this idea here of, like, it really just shows you how ruthless Megatron is, which I just love seeing, and how he is really, arguably, like, the best fighter there is here. And so it's really cool to see. And seeing all this just stuff happen as they're realizing that the Autobots are losing the battle, and they're like, holy crap, Optimus is down, what are we going to do? And it is looking really grim for the Autobots. And here, just because Megatron's messed up, he's like, you have to choose. You either kill the humans or you kill Beachcomber. Or if you don't pick, both are going to go dead. Or be dead. And then that's when we see this the name that I said earlier,
Omega Supreme
appears again. See, this is like what really makes me wonder, like, what exactly Omega Supreme is. Like, I need to look more into what exactly it is, because
I remember the toy, but I don't remember the lore.
Yeah, I need to remember the lore of it again, because it's very much like, well, we got a setup with the Starscream arc at the beginning of Volume 3 that we talked about, where he appears there, and it's just like this amazing figure that can appear that everybody gets wowed by when he shows up. But here he just shows up again. And this, Starscream's like, oh, whoa. And we see that it breaks his concentration here too over Megatron, which is interesting too, because we haven't really seen that either. And he's just like, my name is Oktar, and remembering what he was before because of seeing him. And this is an amazing page here. I love how it's the big dude there flying out, and like it looks like he's coming out of the page, especially with how it's like on the border there. It's beautiful stuff here.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's great. So anyway, Megatron's like, fine, I'll do it myself. But we know what's going to happen here. Shredhead comes in, because when else would Shredhead be able to come in? Shredhead comes in to beat the crap out of Megatron now with his awesome sword. And also messes up Soundwave there. And he just catches everybody off guard.
Yeah.
So really cool stuff. We see Optimus regain consciousness, and he takes out that pole from him. And what does he do with it? Whacks Megatron with it. Love it. Awesome stuff. And we're seeing all this stuff happen. And the Decepticons just retreat here. And we see Megatron's hurt pretty bad there. It's quite interesting to see. And then wake up, and we see Spike is back. Regains consciousness. You see Prime there, and yeah, it's we don't get too much of like an exact. It's less very open ended here, and this does pick up right. And when Robert Kirkman picks up, he'll continue right from this. Well, it leaves it very open as far as like, oh, my spark is cured now, and he's starting to regain his power, what he's capable of, and then it is saying, but still mighty at the end there. So, and that's the end of volume 4. There's an exciting finale. What'd you think about this overall? Since this is
A
the end of
great
it?
ending, a
Yeah.
great third act, if you will. It was just just great all the way around. The lore injected into it. I love the fatherly war veteran role that Optimus has, and they do a really great job of fleshing out the characters.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just it was a beautiful ending for this
Yeah.
first arc, if you will, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, the first grand story is like done here, which is awesome, and it really did come together in a nice way. And uh, I think it did everything it needed to do, and also leaves things very open for the future of the series. Like I'm like there's so many there's several things I'm just looking forward to seeing like where they're going to go from here, right?
Yeah,
Like I'm specifically like I want to learn more about Shredhead, especially as he's kind of like this new main hero, right? And so there's just a lot of things to look forward to, I think. But this was such an amazing beginning uh, to the story, and you can also just like be perfectly happy reading all 4 of these volumes and not necessarily really need to read much else either if you don't want to. Like it's
yeah, they
just
kept it self-contained. I mean, the
yeah,
GI Joe stuff is sprinkled a bit in there,
yeah,
but it's not nearly as like we were talking about this before with Destro. It's like
yeah,
the Transformer stuff is pretty hardcore in the GI Joe stuff. Like the GI Joe are formed specifically because of the threat of the Autobots and
yeah,
Decepticons. In this one, aside from it being sprinkled in, it was not necessarily needed or linchpin, except for like the general, of course, General Flag was there, and Starscream was put onto that Cobra tank. But still, though, it's very little compared to what with influence on the GI Joe. And it was a beautifully done. Daniel Warren Johnson shows
yeah,
again that he can write just as well as he can draw, which is saying a lot because I think he's an amazing artist.
yeah, absolutely.
And the guest artists they brought in just killed it. And yeah, it's all around a 10 for 10, probably best series in the last like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, it really is great. Definitely one of those must read stories from recent years. We keep on talking about how great it is, and yeah, it really is just it is a must read. And so and I don't know how else to put that, then you need to read this.
Yeah, go to the store now and buy it.
Buy it
Find your
now.
local comic shop and buy it now.
Exactly. Always support your local comic stores and all that stuff. And so, yeah.
Or
exactly.
get Global Comics app and read it all 4 volumes on there.
Yeah, yeah. What else is on Global Comics that they can find?
Oh, you can find my series, The Adventures of Sig and Joe, all first 4 issues on there, as well as DC, Marvel, Image, IDW. It's essentially become the go-to app for indies as well as mainstream Western comics in America right now. For like $6.99 a month, you get millions of different issues. My personal work, a bunch of other great indie books, as well as Image, like Transformers, the new Absolutes showing up there from DC, the Ultimate stuff from Marvel. I mean, it's just really all around one of the best apps out there.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff there. Definitely check it out. Where else can people find you at?
Just on my YouTube channels where I spend most of my time doing videos, doing daily shorts, reviews, stuff along those lines. You can also find me through my link tree. The link will be in either the description here for my link tree, which will send you to all of my social medias, Facebook, email, eBay store, all of that. I just recently got the first printing done of my graphic novel for the first 4 issues of The Adventures of Sig and Joe. There was a page left out at the very end in the epilogue, but it doesn't affect the story. But my next printing, I'll have that fixed. But yeah, it's there's finding me on there, and YouTube is where I'm most active right now. I'm up to 135 subs and growing, so I'm feel really happy with how that's building up.
Awesome stuff. Very cool.
Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to
Yes.
this channel for all sorts of cool shit.
That's really important as well. I got a bunch of cool stuff going on. Of course, there's regular comic reviews. Actually, and it's already going to be out by the time this video comes out. But for recording, it's in a couple days for us as Valentine's Day, and so that means the next part of Batman: The Long Halloween, Valentine's Day will be out. The voiced comic that me and friends have been going through, which has been a lot of fun. So make sure you go check that out. Also on Saturday nights is Before the Caper, where you go through and review Smallville. And so this week we're only covering one episode. Don't remember the name of it, but it's in season 2, episode 4. And then yeah, just make sure you go check out all the stuff here for a bunch of fun stuff. So, but yeah, without further ado, I think that's going to do it for this video. As we've crossed a finish line and of sorts with this Transformer stuff. So exciting. And so, but without further ado, I will see you all next time here in the Dingus Den. Laters, everyone. Bye.